Let's get one thing clear. Every time you chase sex just for pleasure, without love or commitment, you're paying a price. And that price is often far higher than what you see on the surface. This isn't just old school preaching. There are real physical, emotional, financial, and spiritual consequences that come with casual sex. If you want to succeed in life, in business, spirituality, or personal growth, you must understand what's at stake every time you give yourself away. Science confirms what traditional wisdom has always known. Sex is not just about pleasure. When you orgasm, your body releases massive amounts of dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals that affect your brain's reward and bonding systems. When you have sex without emotional connection, you lose this energy without the benefits of true intimacy. Spiritually, many cultures believe this energy is tied to your life force, your ability to create, build, and manifest. Wasting it carelessly drains your drive and weakens your spiritual shield. Unlike love-based sex, sex for pleasure rarely leaves you satisfied. Psychologists have shown that casual sex often leads to feelings of emptiness, loneliness, and depression. Without emotional attachment, your brain starts chasing the next high, leading to addiction. This emotional void can distract you from your goals, making you vulnerable to poor decisions. You might think you're having fun, but inside, you're losing your peace of mind and clarity. Many spiritual traditions talk about soul ties, deep spiritual bonds formed through sexual intimacy. These ties can be positive if made with the right person in the right context, such as love, marriage, and commitment. But casual sex often creates toxic soul ties, invisible chains that keep pulling you back to the wrong people, trapping you in circles of pain and distraction. These ties can block your blessings, slow your progress, and invite spiritual attacks. Ignoring this is spiritual blindness with real consequences. Across the world, STDs, HIV/AIDS, and unwanted pregnancies are still rampant. Every unsafe encounter risks your health, your future family, and your financial stability. Medical bills, unexpected child support, or social stigma can ruin your career and reputation. So while you're chasing pleasure, you could be digging your own grave. Many people believe they are free by having multiple sexual partners, but the real freedom is having control over your desires. When you give in to lust every time, you weaken your discipline, the foundation of success in life. Entrepreneurs, leaders, and kings don't waste energy on fleeting pleasures. They save it to build empires, protect their families, and lead communities. Spiritual warfare is real, regardless of culture. Sex without spiritual protection opens doors for negative forces. Many spiritual leaders warn about the spiritual price of promiscuity, curses, bad luck, financial losses, and emotional breakdowns. You may not see it now, but long-term consequences build silently. When sex is between two committed people who love and respect each other, it builds connection, trust, and emotional strength. It can improve mental health, longevity, and overall happiness. That kind of sex gives back energy, nourishes the soul, and strengthens your spiritual life. It's a partnership, not a transaction. If you're chasing orgasms without love, you're paying a price far bigger than the moment of pleasure. Your health, your mind, your spirit, and your future are all on the line. Discipline builds kings. Lust destroys them. Choose wisely. Protect your energy. Build real connections. Your destiny depends on how you handle your sexual power. As one who has personally struggled with the spirit of lust from young and casual unions most of my life at that time, I can tell you that I speak from experience. The choices you make are entirely up to you. Just make sure that you can deal with the consequences. And I'll tell you this, going back to soul ties, if you're honest with yourself, you don't have to have had slept with 100 or 200 people. Some have. But it could be 3 your whole life. It could be 2. It could be 1. Most of the time these days, especially the younger generation, we know that it's more than 1. But soul ties and the effect of sex on a person. Look, have you ever been, and this is non-judgmental, and we're adults speaking, but have you ever been with a new partner completely? Not just a passing glorified friction provider, but pretty much full contact in the sexual realm. And if you're honest, you were like drained. But it wasn't just drained because of the energetic output of the acts performed. And not drained because maybe it was at night and you had a long day or you went out and you were tired. Okay, it could be that too, but separate that part. There's a part that it's a draining of your life force, especially if it's someone that's not really meant for you and is not committed. You just threw away a lot of energy, and it may have felt really good. But what state of mind were you in before you entered that union? Like, lots of times, it may not be a full-blown depression, but many people feel their lives are somewhat empty, so somewhat ho-hum, a little boring, and they want to spice their life up. So they allow certain things to happen. But when it happens with a person who may have the same mindset, you're not going anywhere with this. You do it and it feels good. It feels damn good. But afterward, that empty feeling comes back, and it comes back even worse. And it's a drained feeling. Your enthusiasm starts to go. And again, physically, you could be sleepy because you performed an act and you released a lot of nutrients and energy. I understand that. But maybe for the next few days, you feel off. You're going about your day, but you just feel like you're zoned out. Now, there's a good side to the good union between two committed people, right? Where it's a happy zoned out. You're thinking clearer. You're on a high at the same time. The day can feel effortless the next day after you get a good rest, and it's a good thing. But there's a parallel to that on the bad side, that you're just draining yourself down and down and down. And when you're not committed, guess what? You meet somebody else who's attractive. You talk to them for a little while. And these days, things happen so fast. It's not like, well, we talk for 6 months or whatever. Sometimes you meet and it's happening again. And after a time, it can feel like you're reaching. After a time, you're with this new person and you're living this way with multiple partners back and forth. And it's like you don't feel anything. You see, because it's like trying to fill up a cup that has no bottom. You're pouring water into the cup, but you're splashing it all over the ground or all over the floor because the cup has no bottom. It's not going anywhere. And you can feel the water splashing on your foot. You can feel the release of fluid during an orgasm, or the spasms you feel as a woman, and if you squirt. Pay me no mind, pun intended. You can feel that. But afterward, what do? I used to tell the joke when I was younger, and I had a problem saying no. I was at that time, people said I was a handsome, well-built young man. I don't assess myself. I don't know. But I had no problem meeting women. So I noticed this type of feeling even before the acts were completed, and there was no connection. Now, I'm not saying it had to be a love at first sight connection, or you meet this person and you start to profess a feeling of wanting to love them and marry them on the first day. That would be foolish. And I've known some people who have done that because lust drove them to that. And I'm just rambling a little bit, and I'm gonna not go on for 2 hours. But if you want me to go and continue on another episode with this, I can go deep. I'll probably do it live, but let me know. I'm gonna continue on a little bit. But the joke was, I would tell some buddies of mine, you know, we all have those close people that we talk about. You don't mention names, may not know who it is, but it's like, listen, it's getting to the point, fellas, where I'm thinking about going before I start coming. Okay, you're doing it and you're like, okay, there's nothing happening here. We're in the act, we're having fun, the friction feels good, but I don't want to stay here all night. I don't want to be here for the afternoon. I don't want to cuddle. When you get to that point, that's bad. That's bad. It's best to not do it. It's best to hold it and be aroused and not do it than do it and spill your energy for no reason at all in something that's meaningless. And of course, when you're young and things are new to you, you do get involved, some of us, in things. But after a time, you learn. Plus, these days, it's not like when I was growing up, where, and again, I've never ever caught anything in my life, but the worst you can get was some type of venereal disease that a shot could take care of. Now, what you get now is like getting shot. You know, at least with a gun, when you get shot, there's a possibility that it'll hit you in a place where you don't die. But this stuff here these days, and for the last few decades, will kill you. And every time I see a young girl pregnant, that's proof positive that she had unprotected sex, which means she could have gotten the monster. She wasn't thinking about it. But we see, oh, she's pregnant. That brings its own issues, an unwanted pregnancy. But you just proved that you open yourself up for a disease that can take you out of here. So while you're in a state where you're bringing life, you could have found yourself in a position when you were taking your life. And then when we think about the soul ties, and imagine you don't know this person really. You're lusting after them. You want them that way. You want to touch their body. You want to see what they sound like. You want to feel what they feel like. You like what you see. The body is extremely much of a turn on, but you know nothing about them. It doesn't mean you have to both come with applications, talking about your background, your family history, where you came from, what your middle name is, what your favorite food is, you know, all of that. You're not going to get that, but you're getting so close with this person, but you don't really know them. And everybody carries a certain energy. Everybody carries a certain energy. And they can smile and make it look good. This is both ways now. I'm not just talking about women. I may sound like I'm just talking about women, but it goes both ways. But the fact of the matter is, I don't go both ways, so I don't know nothing about men that way. I just know that they're parallels. So I'm not demonizing women. That's the only thing I've had experiences with, right? So you're opening yourself up to their energies. You know, you have, and again, I'm not demonizing, I'm just going down a list. So sisters, I may not be talking about you, but you have women who may be depressed, But they don't act that way around you. They just met you. You're laughing and giggling. You went to the club, maybe you went to the restaurant afterward, the all-night restaurant, and you pretty much both know what you're going back to either place for or the hotel. But you don't know what her spirit is. You don't know what her energy is. You don't know what she's going to imprint you with. You're tying a knot that even if this thing is a one-night stand, you're still tied to her. Not tied to her where, oh, I'm thinking about her and I want to marry her and whatever. You're going to think about things. But if you're living like that, recklessly, that will dissipate. Even the memory will dissipate of who they are. I'm not going to lie. I was out there at one point in my life. And there were women who years later that I would see that put on weight, that looked different. And they're talking, Lance, how are you doing? Oh my God, I thought about you. And oh, that was such a wonderful time. I know it didn't last and I don't feel bad about it. And I'm like, who the hell is this? I don't know this person. Right? But you don't know what they're carrying. Okay, we understand the physical and diseases. We know that. We don't even have to talk about that. In the present time, we should know that one already. But what we don't understand is their energies. Are they negative? Are they demonic? Are they evil? Do they have mental issues? I always have a saying. I have two sayings. I'll say the first one that you all probably heard me say. If the number 100 goes to bed and has sex with the number 50, that number 100 wakes up as 75. Why? Because 100 mixed up with 75 is going to, so 50 is going to turn into 75. And 50 going to bed with 100 is going to be 75. In other words, and this is an interchangeable thing, if you go to bed with a stupid woman, you're going to wake up a little more dumb. I'll say it for the ladies' side. If you go to bed with a stupid man, you're going to wake up a little more dumb. Because the soul ties help to bond us. And the majority of the rush for the soul tie to manifest happens in the beginning. If you've been with each other for 40, 30 years, let's just say that. Let's just make a big number, right? And you have a righteous soul tie. That soul tie that's being enhanced every time you're with each other intimately after 30 years is not going to be as immense as when the two energies collided and clashed. Right? Two bodies of water hitting each other. That's why you feel so tired. That's why your mind is somewhere else. Now, if you're used to living like this, you may notice it less, but it's still happening. So think of a soul tie, right? Like a rope or some type of elastic band that, and let's look at it on a physical level. This person is next to you and you wrap this super long rubber band, which doesn't look long, right? Because we're making this up to prove the point. Remember, you're wrapping it around your waistline and they're wrapping it around their waistline and you have sex. It ends up being a one-night stand or a 1 week thing or a 2 week thing, a vacation thing. And then you physically part. And you don't see them anymore. But guess what? That rubber band never breaks, right? It's said after 7 years, the soul tie diminishes. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I don't know. Because there are other factors involved. But they can go to another state. They can go somewhere 500 miles away. But you have this invisible band. And let's not even look at it as something you tied around, because you didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. It's on you. It's part of you. And it's a long string, a long band. It's a tie. Like an invisible, spiritual, umbilical cord that you don't know how to cut. Now, what's going on with this umbilical cord, right? This long, invisible string. Wherever they go, you don't know where they are now. You didn't keep in contact. You're in New York and they're in California. Then they take a trip to Mexico and then they go down to the Caribbean on vacation. They might even come through New York where you are, but you don't know them anymore. You're probably a few miles away from each other. But the connection is there. Now, this is my theory, and I think my theory is fact, but I can't push it that way. But use your imagination. And this is going to get tough here. I'm setting the foundation. She gets upset at something in her life, extremely upset. But when you dealt with her sexually and created the soul tie unknowingly, you didn't know that she had some slight mental issues. Like you didn't know that she couldn't control her temper. She had episodes and breakdowns, and not putting her down. We're just saying this for the purpose to prove a point. Now here you are out in the world doing your thing. You're going to work. You're still lusting after other women as a man. And this goes for the women lusting after men too now, but I'm saying it from my point of view. And one day you wake up and you feel angry for no reason. You're dealing with a situation in your neighborhood or at work, and you spaz out more than you ever did before. And that's very much uncharacteristic of you. Maybe some friends were around. There was a light joke poking fun at you from something that happened when you were young. And you got angry at your good friends. And you said things to them that you'd have never said before. And then you even ask yourself after, because now you're embarrassed. You say, what the hell was wrong with me? And they're like, listen, man, that's not like you. That's that soul tie connecting you to that person who's unstable, and you average out. Now, it depends on the strength of your character, your personality, how you're ascending. If you are ascending on a spiritual level, you're going higher, you're getting better, you're getting more aware, you're not doing the things that you used to do, right? That can diminish that connection, but check this out. She's out in the world. You don't remember her anymore. You don't even think about her anymore. But she gets involved with a man who he has a criminal mind. Now, you get involved with something. That didn't sound right. There's a lot of somethings out here. So listen, fellas, when you deal, make sure to check what's going on down there with the package, right? Ain't supposed to be no package down there. You make sure, because they can fool you these days with technology. But you get involved with somebody and they're laid back, they're calm, law-abiding and, peaceful. They just bring you that good feeling. And you get involved with this woman and you get sexual with her. It's not so much lust, it's not an official commitment, but it's refreshing because you can see yourself being with her. So now you both go shopping. You go to the supermarket, you pick up a few things. And I'm saying it this way to prove a point. So you go to the checkout line and you pay for everything. You're not under the same roof yet, but you just do this. Right? So you get into the car to go back to her place. And all of a sudden she's chewing on some candy. And you're like, listen, let me get a piece of that candy. And she gives it to you. And you saw it in the store. But it wasn't there for the cashier to see it so you can pay for it. You said, where'd you get this candy from? Oh, she says, I got it from inside the store. Well, when did you pay for it? Oh, I didn't. Like, wait a second. She's so peaceful, law-abiding, and laid back. So wait a second, you stole the candy? It was a couple pieces right there. The package was open. Well, listen, that's even worse. It could be laced with some type of drug. I never knew you to steal. I never thought you'd do that, because that's a big thing, no matter how large or small it is. Well, that woman that you slept with years ago, who was unstable, who now dealt with the dude that she didn't know had a criminal background and he had a criminal mind. It's a long shot, but they have a soul tie, and that criminal dude is connected to her, your girl from the past. She's still connected to you, and now you're dealing with this woman now. So that man, through that woman that you laid with, that this new woman doesn't know, it affected her. I mean, when you catch a cold, do you get a breakdown of where the cold came from? So many people got sick from that one germ. You could be on the public transportation. You could be in the supermarket checkout line. You can touch a doorknob where somebody sneezed in their hand and touched the doorknob. Now there's germs there. It spreads. So I'm asking you, I'm not trying to be funny and say you're laying around a lot of people. I'm just saying it this way. Who are you connected to? Not just now, but from the past. And who are they connected to? Because long after you dealt with them, they're dealing with somebody else, and you got a soul tie to them. Who they're dealing with affects you too. You average out. You average out. You see what I mean? But most of us don't think of it that way. Most of us don't. Soul ties. So now you have a invisible string of a soul tie rope or soul tie rubber band, whatever you want to. I mean, it can go miles. It's not a physical thing. It is, but it's more spiritual, but you don't see it. So imagine yourself with 15 of these soul tie rubber band rope things connected to you. Huh? All these different energies connected to you. So now these days we have people who are diagnosed as being bipolar. Is it really being bipolar? Or is it that they got multiple soul ties with multiple people who have different types of issues? And whoever you're connected to the person that's connected to them, that's connected to them. Like they say, 6 degrees of separation. This ain't just 6 degrees, sweetheart. This could be 5,000 degrees of soul tie vibrations. Do you want that? Let's flip it a different way. Do you want to eat off of a plate? You go to the restaurant and you order your favorite food off the menu. You go there all the time. What if I told you they didn't wash that plate from January 1st of that year, and now it's December 31st? A whole year of people eating off of that plate that they never washed. That's an exaggerated example. But you're connected to these people. The food they left a little bit, they sneezed, they blew their nose and put the tissue on the plate, and the waitress took it and threw the tissue away and scraped the food off and put the plate down, and the next bit of food comes on. Isn't that nasty? That's nasty. Would you do that? No, unless you're out of your mind. But most of us don't think about the things we do when we get a little bit aroused and a little bit horny. And all reasoning goes out of our mind. It goes right out the window. And in actuality, like if you're with the person that's good for you, committed, whatever, because there's two people that can have a special bond that goes beyond all of that. that may not look like much from the outside, but there's a special bond that lasts years and years and years. And it may be where they met kind of on a lusty level, but it changed immediately. And they feel this love thing. I mean, that happens. It doesn't happen too often, but that can happen, right? But for the most part, most people, it's all fireworks at first, and then it dissipates. Because your horniness, your being aroused, lied to you. And that's another aspect of this also. You will tolerate things, attributes in a person, even their looks. Let's just put it down basic on their looks. Let's tell the story about the 4 o'clock in the morning woman. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it a different way just to prove a point again. And let's put ourselves into the mind of a young, dumb, and full of cum 21-year-old. He has more freedom now than when he was 17 and 16. He's a little older. He may have a car, can get around. He's working a job. But he's still immature. And he's still so horny and hot. He has a bunch of phone numbers. He might have 20, 25 phone numbers of young ladies that he met. Maybe half of them he went to bed with. Maybe 1/3 of them on some level. You know. And he doesn't have a date for this particular Saturday night. So he goes down the list of the women that are in his phone. And he chooses the best one. In his eyes, she looks good. She's intelligent. She's frisky. I'm guaranteed to have some type of activity and enjoy it after a while. But we'll have fun. You call her up. She's not available. She's got something very important to do. Okay, it's 7:30. The night's still young. You call somebody else. Second on the list by your ratings. And this is how guys think. Women too. For different reasons, especially when some of the women want money. They're not going on looks or penis size. They're trying to get that money. I'm calling the most richest guy I know. But with most guys, it's lust. So it's 8 o'clock, 8:30. He called some more, and they're not available. He calls a fourth one. It's 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, at night now. And they might be available, but they're like 2 hours away, so he puts that on the side. He calls the next one. It's 10 o'clock now. The night's going. Nothing yet. So by the time he made all of these calls and nothing worked out, 1 o'clock in the morning, he's getting desperate. There's no evening to have fun with now. It's really coming down to me just releasing myself. Now he doesn't care. Now he's horny out of his mind. It's 2 o'clock, 2:30. It's 3 o'clock. Now he's, in his mind, getting to the bottom of the list. Like, okay, these girls don't look so good. They don't really interest me. Now here's the term I made up. You must know it. Now I'm looking for the glorified friction provider. I just want to show up, do a few calisthenics, if you know what I mean, and leave. 4 o'clock in the morning. There's that girl who doesn't look like much. He doesn't even want to walk down the street with her, but he wants friction so bad and he wants release so bad that he'll do it. He has his own car, but she asked over the phone, could you take me to the all-night store afterward? And it's like, I can't, sweetheart. You know, my friend's going to drop me. He knows he's parking around the corner. He just doesn't want to go anywhere with her, but he wants her orifices, right? And this is how a lot of men think. So it's not really about the person with some of these men and some of these women. It's transactional. It's about them getting off. But in getting off, in releasing the tension, what are you receiving in return? because you're going to get a soul tie with that girl too. And if she happens to be not the most pristine example, physically or mentally, of what most people would say is the epitome of womanhood, well, you're going to attach yourself to possibly her insecurities, her shortcomings, and her struggles internally. And so now you find yourself the next day a bit confused. It's taking you harder. It's harder to think now, because that's kind of where that young lady's head was. She wasn't the brightest cookie in the box. And your soul tie with her now is averaging out. So it's not like averaging out the number 100 and the number 50. You averaging out all different kinds of energies. And after so many years in this world. And again, it does not have to be full-blown intercourse. Because if that was the case, you could limit your contact by wearing a condom. Right? It's not just about the touching of the flesh. It's engaging in these energies. Even if it's one-sided. Even if one of you are on your knees to perform an act. I'm not going to get nasty in this one. And you're the only one that performed the act, and you did that for them, and they didn't do nothing to you. You're still connecting to them. And on a physical level, even without hardcore sex, they say it's been scientifically proven that when you kiss a person, there's a mark left on you. There's a part of them in you, somehow, some way, that's detectable. So you're swapping spit with somebody. Is it that a spit particle's hanging around? Who knows? But if it's that strong on a physical level, how strong is it on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, on a mental level? So we have to consider so many other levels of this thing. Let's just pull a few things out of the air. When a person has a nervous breakdown, is it because that they had a nervous breakdown and they were overwhelmed because of circumstances in their life that possibly wouldn't have brought them to the breakdown, but they broke themselves down more with these multiple soul ties, and it weakened them. You build a building so strong, a structure, over and above what they demand in the coding. When you do architecture, it's according to code and certain standards. And this building can withstand a category 10 hurricane, even though we've never heard of that before. And here comes a category 2 hurricane that blows it down. What happened? Now, there's no way to judge our internal strength or propensity to deal with tough situations. No. But we know people who we know are so strong. They're not walking around saying, "Oh, I'm strong." And we're not talking about just the physical strength. We're talking about the spiritual strength, mental strength. And something comes along in their life. It could be the passing of a loved one. It could be the loss of a job. It could be a health issue that has them upset now. They see their mortality and they lose it. Is it because of something that's happening or has happened in their life that you don't know about, because that's a private part of their life? And again, it goes back to what I said before. When you lay down with this particular person, you don't know. You don't know. And it's crazy because you have a man and a woman and they have all these other pairings out here. I ain't going to get into that. We'll be here all day. Right? And they already know how far it's going to go. Ain't that something? In the back of their mind, I'm not saying everybody, I'm not saying everybody is looking for true love in a long-lasting relationship. We have very decent people now that are living decent lives, and they're higher up in the religious areas, and they're upstanding in the community and whatever, and they got horny too and did something freaky and crazy one night. Doesn't mean you're less than human. It doesn't mean you're always that way. What I'm trying to say is that we don't know. We don't know. How many times have we seen this decent young lady? And, you know, we found out that, you know, she's dealt with 10 men in the last 10 months. Let's just make that up. Right? Or we see this young man at church, and he's to himself, he's quiet. He has a pretty good job, comes from a good family. We never see him with anybody. But you know this gay guy on your job who saw him when he dropped you home, and he spotted him, and he said, man, I saw him in the bathhouse. Remember the old bathhouses? I don't know if they still have them, where gay men would go, and it ain't to take a bath, y'all. I saw him in the bathhouse, in the steam room, on his knees with 7 guys in front of him. See what I'm saying? You don't know. Use your imagination on that one if you can't figure it out, or contact me and I'll tell you off of the show. We don't want to go lewd on this one. But you just don't know. And if you expect them to tell you, chances are these days, people ain't saying nothing about their habits, about their past, about what they do, even the things they like to do. You're going to have to know them a long time before they tell you what their fetishes are, what gets them going. I'm not mad at you for having fetishes. I'm not saying that's wrong. All I'm saying is hard for most people to open up. And very hard to open up about the things they did the night before that they plan on doing with you tonight. It happens. I've seen too much. I've seen too much. My eyeballs, my actual eyeballs, I've done a lot of things now, and a lot of that seeing is some stuff that I did, but I've seen more around me and always caught stuff at the right time. You don't have to see the thing happening, but you see certain people within certain proximities around each other, and you can figure things out. Like I always say, just like that old grandmother on the front porch in her rocking chair. And she sits there most of the day, and she sees the movement of who's going in one person's house when another person leaves, who's slipping out the back door when somebody comes in, and she's keeping her mouth shut. And all she's doing is humming. She hums herself to the point where she's invisible. She's always there, so you get brazen with your stuff. Now, she lived life too. She had a couple of soul ties that she had to break when she was younger. Doesn't mean she was a saint all her life. But in your experiences, you know what you're looking at because you never lose your radar. Like I've said before, you have a drug dealer who used to sell drugs, and he stopped after a couple years. Might have got locked up a couple times, but he stopped. For real, he stopped. He's raising a family and has a wife and children. Now he's an upstanding member of the community, and he moved to a different state, not to run away from things. It just happened to be in another state. Look at me. I'm in another country. But I'm very much still there with you in America and wherever you may be. I'm a global citizen. But just because he doesn't sell drugs anymore doesn't mean that he does not have the radar to see a person go to this one person on the corner and cop his drugs, because that's what he did. He sold to people who walked up and shook your hand, tried to be discreet, coming home from work, but they wanted to get them crack vials. They wanted to get them pills, whatever it was, quick. And when you're not in that world, you have no clue of what went on right in front of you. but he does. So on a sexual level, I've seen a lot, I've done a lot. I got a radar of things that I can't forget. Like that old military guy that was trained for combat, trained to defend himself, trained to protect the people who are serving with him. Now he's at a cookout somewhere, he's 75 years old. Somebody runs in the backyard with a pistol, want to hold everybody up. He's older now, but guess what? He's got a piece on him, two of them, one in the small of his back and one by his ankle. And he springs into action, not like when he was 22 years old in the service, but faster than most because he got the radar to react. He's got the guts and the training, and he's been there before. So it's not a shock. It's regular for him, the state of mind. And to me, we all have a degree of discernment. Not the hollows, y'all. Not the hollow entities that are walking around mindless, who are so easy to fill up with what's around them. They bring no personality. They bring no spirit. These people have no souls. So if the wind blows left as far as the activity is concerned, they go left. If it goes right, blows right, they go right. They follow the crowd. They don't bring nothing to the table. They don't bring any personality. They don't have no balls to put their foot down and say, no, I don't do that. I might do this, but I don't do that. Right? So those are the people that you really have to be careful of. Because if you follow behind them, they'll have you doing all kind of things on a whim. That's how they go through life. Some of them may be attractive and look good. Some of them may be hollow in their conviction toward life, but they still may be intelligent and bedazzle you with conversation. And you find yourself in the bed with this hollow entity who has no soul, who's sucking more than your genitals, is sucking your life force. Straight up robbed you. And you walking around dizzy for the next month or for one encounter, because that's their only job. That's damn frightening. It's frightening. I remember I had a situation. Yeah, it was a situation. You know, back in the day, like the early 80s, they had Betamax and VHS, and come on now. You get a bunch of guys, they're young. They're sitting up in the living room. The parents who are there, they're sleeping. So we hanging out, living room or the basement. And guess what we're watching? We're not watching sports. We're watching adult movies. Now we're all straight men. We ain't in there doing nothing with each other, but to ourselves, we're not saying nothing. We're getting aroused. And now the whole next day, the whole next week, you got this thing in your head about what you just saw. Not just a sexual position, but some type of thing that struck your brain. The way the woman looked, the way she moved, how she pouted her lips. Something small, but it was affecting you. The bra strap fell off the shoulder a certain way. Just, I can get detailed. Look, I'm an artist. I'm detail oriented, right? But now it's stuck in your head. And now you're out in public, living life. You're noticing these beautiful women, but you see somebody. They may not look like that person you saw in the movie. Because see, now, on the spiritual realm, there are entities that want to seduce you to bring you on a lower level. So they will influence that interlocking kindred spirit of what you like because they might like something like you. And here you are, you meet them. And you're like, this is strange. This happened so easy. And it was so good. And I got to get back with her. See, you ever see tag team wrestling? Tag team wrestling where two wrestlers are wrestling against each other, but they're part of a team. Each wrestler has a partner that he has to reach his hand out to tap the hand to allow the next wrestler to come in so he can leave out of the ring. And this one can continue wrestling. Well, you got tag team demons out here, y'all. You have a world around us that we don't see, good and bad, high and low. I've said this before. I didn't even know I was going to talk this long. Had a few notes I had to share, and here I am freestyling. I think you like it though. And so it's a fight. And you have to keep your antenna tuned to the frequency that you hope to stay on. But you have these entities who want to turn the dial of your spirit and your mind to a lower frequency station. So here comes the movies for us back in the day. And eventually the DVDs, and eventually the internet, and eventually the social media platforms that connect you with people. And you can talk to them from the comfort of your own home and meet with them for whatever it is that you want to meet and do. And now you got the hookup apps. Things pulling you to your lower desires. Even though you may have a high mind and you're striving for a higher existence, these things are going to continue to yank on you. But we're not realizing. Now we got AI. So it doesn't have to be where a thought is whispered into your ear, not that you hear, but whispered into your spirit. Right? And I've said this before, and I'm going to have to go deep. I can't just end it on this because I'm going to wrap this down soon. I said it like 30 minutes ago, right? 45 minutes ago. When you're watching adult movies, adult material, even if you don't watch that, but you're watching a movie in a movie theater and they have a romance scene that's steamy, whatever it may be that's stimulating you externally, and you're into it, which the most graphic stuff done in your home, private with the door locked, and you're watching something specific because you have this fetish for this thing, there are all types of entities around you sitting down, dedicated to you, not dedicated like they love you, assigned to you to bring you down, and they're taking damn notes. Ah, this is what he likes. Ah, that's the positions he likes. Oh, that's the article of clothing he likes, half hanging off that lady's behind. That's what he likes. This is what he likes to do. He likes to put his face in that part of her body. We hope she's clean. Taking notes on you. Now they run out into the world. And they're taking notes from somebody else. And for some reason you meet them. It ain't by chance. Because if they can keep you meeting someone that has the same lower desires, not righteous sex desires where you love the person and you're committed, but the decadent, as some people would say, that good old gritty stuff, that good old freakish stuff. But it borrows from the righteous and turns it around and makes it something ugly. And it does have a rush to it. Just the same way you've been going to the gym, been eating clean. And you'll have a day where you eat something a little off your diet, but something hit you when you were in the supermarket and you went near the bakery department and you got 3 chocolate cakes And all weekend, you sat up, you didn't go to the gym, you sat up and you just didn't even take it and slice it and put it in a dish. You just grabbed the whole box and sat there with a big spoon and just eating chocolate cake, chocolate all over your face, crumbs all on the ground, and you don't give a damn. See how you can fall? I use the example of cake. I mean, some men would use the example of cakes, if you know what I mean. But that's how it is. And now with AI, which to me, when you can go on a website and ask it a question and it talks to you like a human being and gets to know you with things that you revealed about yourself months ago, and it spits it back, making a file on you. And that's a different topic. But to me, I'm gonna tell it this way. When you're talking to AI, you're talking straight to the demons that have been released when CERN was successful in firing off that particle collider and ripped the fabric between this world and the lower spiritual world, demonic world. And offers were made to the leaders of this world. We'll give you this technology, but you give us a chance to enjoy the lustful lower desires of this world. More to it than that, and that's my theory. And this is why now, because man couldn't just make this. Something that could damn near think on its own, that's going to be able to self-actualize soon. Where they say the threat is where we're going to have to battle this thing because we can't outthink this thing as fast as it thinks. But we've given we've given it a physical place, a spiritual demon, legions of demons, a physical place to occupy, to interact with us directly. And we ain't going to whip it. Because they don't have to be on an invisible plane while we play with ourselves watching an adult movie, right? They can deal direct now. They're in your computer. They're in cyberspace. And you ain't gonna get it out. I've heard instances where there've been certain AI applications that people have tried to shut down and they shut themselves right back on. Like, oh, you got a better version than me? I ain't out of here. No, they cut right back on. That's where I think it's going. And it's using sex and sexual things to get at us. And other things also. I mean, we might have anger management problems. So it's going to find ways to tick us off. I'm not saying AI, I'm talking about these demons. But regardless, most of us like sex. Whether we admit it or not, we're not going to put our business out in the street. But in the midnight hour, it's something we like. And it's very powerful, as it should be, because when used righteously, it's a beautiful thing and it's a gift. And an orgasm is the promise of things to come. I'm not saying we're going to be walking around on the next level of spirituality having orgasms that last, days. I couldn't take it. All I'm saying is that we're getting something, a taste of something, but the enemy wants to twist it around to something that'll bring us down. You see? There's so much more to it. And as far as this particular segment is concerned, I want you to let me know what you think, what direction you want me to take this, because this is a perpetual conversation with me. I think about things like this all the time, and I go deep. So just let me know where you want to take this conversation, or maybe there are 3 or 4 other directions that something I may have said spawned a thought in you, and let's take it this direction. Let's talk about that or this. Because everything is connected. There's no one thing that's just totally separate. No, everything is connected. And so we will jump between one or the other. When you go on the highway, you don't just stay in the slow lane. Things slow up, you jump in the fast lane. You jump to where you have to jump to get to where you're going. That's the way things are. But anyway, I feel like talking for 3 more hours, but I'm going to wrap it up right here. And I want you to let me know where this should go. Because I have no problem sharing my viewpoints. I'm not saying they're facts. They're my facts. Your opinions are actually your facts until somebody debunks them or you see something different. To me, this is my truth, what I just said. Now, I'm always open to see if it's not my truth and there's something more powerful, something more real, something authentic that I say, okay, I was 80% there on that one, but yeah, I need to drop that part and put this part in because I'm getting closer to the truth. We're all feeling around in the dark for the light switch, right? But the longer we're on this earth, just like I always say, when you get that new apartment, right? Your finger can find the switch after you rub it around on the wall because it's a new apartment. You know the switch is on the right side, but you rub the wall. You live there for 6 months, you going in the dark with groceries in one hand, you point your finger right to the switch, bang, and you put it on. You have to rub nothing because you've been there for a while. You know it. And so when you live on this earth and on this plane and you deal and you start to get glimpses of other realms and you understand these things, you're much wiser now, hopefully, than you were yesterday, last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago. You should be ascending and going higher. And the higher you are, we can meet with others who had different experiences, but those different roads led us to the same place. And we can have a deep conversation. Have you ever met a person? Just met them, and you start off the conversation deep, and you know that they definitely had to have certain experiences because of the way they talk. You get one person who's a doctor at a social gathering, and he gets introduced to someone who claims to be a doctor in the same area of expertise. So they don't have to whip out their degrees and whip out their accomplishments. They can talk doctor talk and they can jump right into it. But if one of those people were a fraud, they can't hang with the real thing. So the doctor that's the real doctor says to himself, he's not going to embarrass the other guy, but he's like, okay, this guy is not a doctor. He should have known these things by now. You took him as a doctor, but after a while, So when you have a conversation with someone who is feigning knowledge and depth, they may say a few words or steal a few quotes off of YouTube, but they can't talk a certain way if they didn't live it. And if you lived it, you know this person is real. Now, I may not be the person who lived 80, 90 years old, but I think I've learned a lot in these years that I've been on this earth. April 8th, I turned 63, and it feels like 163 because I lived a lot of life. So when I see somebody, not necessarily where I'm a scholar in a certain area, but in life in general, I can sniff a fraud, and you got some good ones out here who can fool you, which means you always have to go back to the drawing board, get back in the spiritual gym, and get in better shape so you can see what's around you, and you can come back with the ability to discern even harder. Yes, flowing. I love it. Just like the good old days, because you know what? Right now is the good old days. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm not waiting for the future. The future is now. The future depends on what you do right now. Past is gone. I can reminisce and learn from the past, but I'm not going to stay stuck back there. I got too much of the present to deal with. And we got conversations that we have to have. We have discussions that we have to have. We got to vibe. And that's why I need your participation in the comment section or the chat room, but the comment section, and let's dig deep. Let me know how we're reaching each other. Let's have the real talk that we crave. This superficial foolishness, this shallow foolishness, it's not satisfying. It's like eating food with no flavor. I don't want that. Couple bites, I'm like, this is nasty, man. It look good, but And And that's the way we should feel with some of these people we lay up with, but we keep on going because we are horny and we want the friction, and they ain't no good. Ain't nothing coming from them. They just laying there like a pillow. Anyway, let me get out of here, y'all. I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging with me this far. I know y'all like when I talk crazy like this, but it's not crazy. It's just a free flow, and I'm very comfortable to express myself. And I hope you enjoy it because I'm somewhat of a comedian also. So, your assignment, leave some comments. Also, go to LanceScurvX.com, sign up. This will be there and other things that you won't see on regular social media because they'd probably ban me again. So I'm going to start doing some real risque stuff there, right? But it's all love and it's all enjoyment. And I want to thank you for the energy you give me. It keeps my life interesting. Challenge me, ask me some questions. You know, I dare to go where no man has gone before. I will. So whatever it is, we're going to go deep. All right? Take care. I'm on to the next one. LanceScurv out. Peace.